billionaire sheikh forces humble girl to marry him, but what she discovers changes everything. In a bustling marketplace in Marrakech, Layla, a 23-year-old girl with soft brown eyes and tangled black hair, clutched her wares nervously. She sold handmade jewelry, a family tradition, but her heart belonged to dreams far beyond the colorful stalls and fragrant spices surrounding her. Layla had known hardship, her family struggling to make ends meet since her father passed. "You can't keep dreaming forever, little girl," her mother would say, worry etched on her face. "We need you here." It was a scorching afternoon when everything changed. As Layla arranged her delicate necklaces, a sleek black car pulled up, its engine a low growl that contrasted with the cheerful chatter of shoppers. The door swung open, revealing a tall, impeccably dressed man, Sheikh Amir al-Rahman, the multi-billionaire rumored to own half of the city. "You," he said, his voice deep, commanding. "I need a local artisan. Your work is exceptional." Layla's heart raced. Was he talking to her? The hum of the crowd faded into silence as she nodded, hesitant. "Me? But I'm just a girl from the souk." Amir's gaze was piercing, yet there was something thoughtful behind it. He stepped closer, the scent of his expensive cologne mingling with the warm spices in the air. "I like humble beginnings," he replied, a smirk forming at the corner of his mouth. "How about a contract?" That evening, Layla found herself in a lavish palace, the golden walls reflecting the soft glow of ornate chandeliers. Everywhere she looked, luxury surrounded her: silk drapes, glimmering marble, and exotic plants. "This is surreal," she whispered to herself. Yet, beneath the surface, a current of unease pulsed through her. She was drawn to the opulence, but reminded of her roots, the cramped apartment she shared with her mother, the battles they fought to put food on the table. "You're here to stay, Layla," Amir said, his voice threading into her thoughts. "You'll need to marry me." Shock washed over her. She wasn't even sure how to respond. "Marry you? Just like that?" Amir shrugged, his smile fading. "It's the only way. You'll work in my company, and I can take care of you and your mother. What's the choice, really?" Layla's breath caught in her throat. "But I don't know you. What if I don't agree?" His eyes narrowed slightly, a flash of something unreadable crossing his face. "You'll agree. Do not underestimate what I'm capable of." The tension in the room was palpable, like a tight rope waiting to snap. Just then, a fire alarm blared through the palace, the sound jarring and chaotic. "What's happening?" Layla gasped, looking towards Amir. His expression morphed from calm to urgent in a heartbeat. "Stay close to me," he commanded, a hint of panic threading between his words as the sounds of hurried footsteps grew louder. As a crowd surged towards the exits, Layla's heart raced and doubt clouded her mind. She had unknowingly stepped into a world of wealth and power, but at what cost? The smoke began to fill the air, and just as Amir reached for her hand, she looked into his dark eyes, a whirlwind of emotions swirling around them. Fear, urgency, and a sliver of hope. "Hey," Before we dive back into this amazing story, I've got an important warning. Lots of subscribers told me YouTube removed their subscription without notice. Take a second to check the red button below and make sure you're still subscribed. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming up. And while you're there, smash that powerful like button. It really helps with the algorithm. Let me know in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love meeting every awesome person in this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. The smoke clawed at Layla's throat, its acrid bite sending her heart into a frenzy. Amir's hand tightened around hers, pulling her closer. "This way," he shouted, his voice barely cutting through the chaos. People surged past them, fear written on every face. Layla stumbled, the intricately patterned marble floor slippery beneath her shoes. The grandeur of the palace, now, felt like a gilded cage, really. What had once shone with beauty was now a nightmarish labyrinth. Suddenly, blaring sirens pierced through the commotion, and red lights flickered like a warning beacon. Anxiety flooded her veins. She turned to Amir. "What's going on?" His jaw clenched, but he wouldn't meet her eyes. The fear that danced in them sent a chill down her spine. "Just follow me," he insisted. They darted toward a side corridor, Amir leading the charge. Layla's stomach twisted. Each pounding step echoed her unease. She was racing into the unknown, and all she could do was trust this man she barely knew. As they reached a service entrance, Amir glanced back, his face a mask of fierce concentration. "Get outside! I'll find another way." "What? No!" Panic surged within her. But he was already urging her through the door, pushing her into the blinding light of day. The air was thick with smoke now, and the heat wrapped around her like a tightening coil, stifling her. "Layla, go!" The urgency of his voice shook her. She ran, praying to see another unharmed soul. The atmosphere buzzed with terrified shouts and sirens wailing. She rushed into the breath of fresh air, coughing as she escaped the smoke. A crowd gathered, eyes wide with shock. She turned back just in time to see Amir slip through a different exit, the door slamming behind him. Fear clawed at her once more, panic bubbling within. Then, through the chaos, something extraordinary caught her eye. A car, sleek and black, zoomed towards the palace. It didn't belong to the guests. A sick feeling unfurled in her stomach. As the vehicle stopped, masked men spilled out. Layla's breath quickened, realization creeping in. She turned on her heel, desperation igniting her feet. "Amir," she shouted, but her voice got lost in the pandemonium. Rushing back toward the palace, she saw figures stumble through the smoke. It wasn't Amir. A woman, her clothes torn and disheveled, staggered forward, gasping for air. "Help, please." Layla rushed to her side, but the woman's eyes betrayed an unthinkable panic. "It's a trap. He's not who you think he is," she cried, her voice raw with terror. Layla's heart pounded. Amir wasn't just a billionaire sheikh. There was darkness there, lurking beneath that charming exterior. "What do you mean?" she asked, voice trembling, hands trembling at her sides. The woman leaned in closer, eyes wild. He's in deep with dangerous people. They're here for him. Tonight." A crash sounded from behind them, and Layla spun around. The masked men were pushing through the crowd, panic rising like steam in her chest. "Run!" she yelled, pulling the woman with her. But doubt ate at her, Who could she trust? Had Amir brought her into something far more sinister than her dreams? In that moment, a tall figure emerged from the smoke. It was Amir, his face twisted with intensity, locking eyes with Layla. "Get away from her!" he barked, voice sharp. The woman faltered, and fear washed over Layla, freezing her in place. "Amir?" she whispered, her heart pounding, body screaming to escape. But it was not just the smoke that obscured the truth. Layla's conviction faltered. What hidden truths lay beneath those piercing dark eyes? And as the first distant screams echoed, a terrible realization crashed over her. There would be no easy path ahead. Only a tangled web of deceit awaited them. What was Amir hiding? And did she truly want to find out? Layla felt the ground shift beneath her. Amir's voice sliced through the haze. "Get away from her!" The panic in his eyes was unsettling. Was he saving her or lying? The woman at her side gasped, her grip tightening on Layla's arm. "He's not who he seems." Layla's heart thundered. The chaos swirled around them like a storm, the smoke thick, the truth hidden. She couldn't tell if Amir was a hero or a villain. Amir moved closer, his face taut, wild. "I said step away!" "Why?" Layla shouted. "What's happening?" In that moment, the masked men broke through the crowd, their forms closing in. Alarm bells rang in Layla's mind as Amir's demeanor shifted. He straightened up, his eyes narrowing, calculating. "You need to trust me," he insisted, an edge creeping into his tone. Trust. Questions shot through her like arrows. This was the man who wanted to marry her, the man who pulled her from the market and into this mess. The woman's breath hitched, eyes darting. He's been selling secrets to the highest bidder. Layla's stomach dropped. What? It felt like the floor had vanished. Everything she thought was true cracked like fragile glass. The woman kept speaking, urgency bubbling like frantic water. "He's a criminal. I was one of his workers. I escaped. You can't let him—" A louder crash interrupted, heavy footsteps thudding closer. Panic jolted through Layla. Amir's facade cracked, tension radiating from him. You don't know what you're talking about, but a part of her hesitated. Suddenly, the masked men shouted, pushing towards them, bodies colliding in sheer chaos. Layla's mind raced, caught between fear and confusion. Amir's insistence battled with the woman's warning. The woman shouted, a wild urgency overtaking her. "Layla, we have to go, now!" But Amir stepped forward again, blocking their escape. "You don't understand, Layla. They're coming for me. For us, they won't stop." His words echoed, truth masking his deceit. Layla's heart pounded wildly. Who could she trust? A glance at the woman's pleading eyes drew her further into the storm. But you— A loud crash shattered the air, the door behind Amir bursting open. A tall figure shoved through the smoke. Her heart sank. It wasn't just any masked man. It was a familiar face, one she never expected to see. Layla, her brother? What was he doing here? Confusion flooded in. His eyes were wide, filled with fear and regret. "Get away from him! He's been using you!" Layla felt the world tilt. The weight of betrayal crashed over her. She reached out to Amir, as if anchoring herself, but the look on her brother's face twisted that anchor into something heavy. "Amir!" she shouted, frustration and fear clashing in her chest. "You don't know the truth!" he yelled back, desperation coating his words. But even as she looked, between the two men, she felt her heart shattering. Her brother had always protected her. Amir had pulled her into a world filled with glittering dreams, but something darker lingered beneath. Amir squared his shoulders, defiance radiating from him. "They'll take you from me." The masked men closed in, and the air crackled with danger. "You're lying!" Layla screamed, her voice thick with emotion. And just then, her brother lunged at Amir. Layla's world erupted into chaos. Alarms blared. Screams rang out. In that split second, everything crashed together. Could she trust either of them? The ground shifted beneath her, reality folding around them like a dark shroud. As pain surged, her heart raced, frantically seeking the truth. What if she was trapped, lost in the web none of them could escape? All she knew was she had to choose, and fast. But which life was worth saving? The crowd was thick with uncertainty. Layla felt her heart hammer in her chest. Amir's defiance crackled in the air, and the desperate cries of her brother rang in her ears. "Get away!" her brother yelled again, lunging for Amir. But the chaos around them surged like a tidal wave. Layla stood frozen, two worlds colliding, one filled with secrets, the other with loyalty. Amir was a stranger, wrapped in mystery, while her brother was her blood, the only family she had left. Suddenly, Amir's face shifted. It was as if a mask slipped, revealing something darker. "There's more you don't know," he shouted, eyes wild. "I didn't want this, none of it." The words hung in the air, heavy with truth and desperation. Layla's stomach dropped. What did he mean? The masked men pressed forward, relentless. They were closing in. Panic flooded her veins, tightening her throat. She couldn't think. She had to move. "Layla!" Her brother's voice cut through the fog. "You need to trust me. He's been using you." The accusation pierced her. Using her? Was that all she was to him? Before she could respond, a shadow loomed over them. Layla squinted through the smoke. A figure emerged, tall, imposing. The room grew silent, engulfed, in tension. It was a man wearing a dark suit, face obscured by the smoke. He stepped into the light, revealing a cruel smile that twisted his features. "So, we meet at last," he said, his voice taunting. "The lovely Layla and her dashing billionaire." Layla's heart dropped. She had no idea who he was. "Who are you?" she demanded, fury rising. "Oh, just a friend of Amir's, or should I say, a business partner." His grin widened, revealing a set of sharp, gleaming teeth. Confusion flickered in Amir's eyes. "You shouldn't be here, Ibrahim," he barked, anger boiling over. Ibrahim laughed softly, eyes glinting like daggers. "But I am, and tonight is just the beginning. You've meddled." "Enough, Amir." He waved a hand dismissively. "But don't worry, Layla. You'll be just fine if you cooperate." The word hung in the air, spinning around her like sweat-soaked smoke. Layla felt the chill creep down her spine. "What do you want with me?" she whispered, the lump in her throat blocking her voice. Ibrahim stepped closer. "She's a key player in this little game, Amir. I need her talent and her connection to you." Every part of her screamed for her to run. But she was rooted to the spot, shock freezing her in place. "You can't do this!" Amir's voice was tight. "She's innocent." "Innocent?" Ibrahim's gaze darted between them, amusement dancing in his eyes. "Innocence is subjective, my friend. She's the perfect bait for what's coming." Layla's breath hitched. Realization dawned like a dark shadow creeping into her heart. Were they using her? Before she could react, Amir lunged at Ibrahim. The two men collided, fists flying. Layla watched in horror as Amir tackled Ibrahim to the ground. Panic surged again. The masked men were too close. She had to move. "Get out!" she yelled toward her brother. "Run!" But he grabbed her hand, his eyes wide with fear. "No, we stay together." The chaos erupted around them, fists flying and shouts echoing. Smoke thickened, suffocating her thoughts. Suddenly, Ibrahim wrestled free, eyes filled with rage. "Enough of this! I'll take her!" "You know I will." He lunged toward Layla. Time slowed. Layla's mind raced. What if this was the end? In that moment, her brother pushed her away, stepping in front of her. "No!" she screamed. The world spun. Would she lose him too? As Ibrahim charged, she reached out in desperation. Everything exploded into chaos. Fists, cries, and echoing shouts filled the space. Then, darkness. Everything went black. Layla's heart raced. What had just happened? Was her brother safe? And what had Amir really brought her into? As her eyes fluttered open, the smoke faded, but the taste of fear lingered. She was alone. Where was everyone? An echoing silence filled the void, pressing down on her like a suffocating shroud. What now? The truth was waiting, but the answer remained hidden in shadows. And she was back at the beginning, with more questions than ever. Layla's heart raced as she blinked against the dim light. What just happened? Where was everyone? The air was thick, heavy with smoke and panic. She let out a shaky breath, trying to piece together the mess around her. The palace? Was she still there? The chaos felt like a nightmare slipping away, but the fear anchored her. Silence stretched across the room, wrapping around her tightly. She could still hear the echoes of shouts and crashes, but now everything was muted. A ringing filled her ears. She sensed something was terribly wrong. Quickly, she pushed herself up. "Hello? Anyone?" Her voice trembled, just a whisper swallowed by shadows. Nothing. Then she heard footsteps. They were heavy, slow. Panic fluttered in her chest. Was it Amir? Had he found her? Or was it Ibrahim? Her heart thudded as a figure stepped into the dim light. But it wasn't Amir or her brother. It was another man, tall and broad, dressed in dark clothes. A sinister smile curled on his lips. "Ah, there you are." Layla's stomach dropped. "Who are you?" He chuckled softly, the sound chilling. "I'm someone who knows a lot about you, Layla. Much more than you'd expect." She took a step back, her body tensing. "Get away from me. You're in way over your head. Amir? He's not what you think." His eyes gleamed with malice. "He's been playing a long game, and you're just a pawn." "No!" Anger surged through her. "You're lying!" He shook his head. "Am I? Think about it. He needs you for everything he built. You're the key to his empire, but you're also a liability." "I don't believe you." But doubt crept in, a shadow whispering at the back of her mind. "Did you think it was a coincidence that he pulled you from the market? That he came to you out of everyone?" His smile widened. "He sees you as a tool, sweet girl, not a treasured partner." Her breath hitched. "Why should I trust you?" "Because I'm offering you a way out." He stepped closer, the stench of smoke and deceit wafting from him. "Forget Amir. Join my side. We can offer you a life beyond what he could. Power, wealth, freedom." "I don't want your poison," she shot back. But his words whispered enticingly in her mind. Is it really poison if it's delivered with a smile? Just then, the palace vibrated with distant explosions. The walls shook, and a cloud of dust fell from the ceiling. Layla's heart raced. "What's happening?" "Just a little chaos to help you see." He waved a hand dismissively. "The masked men are here for Amir, and if you're caught with him, well, it won't end well for you." As the dust settled, she heard a commotion. Her brother's voice called for her, frantic through the haze. "Layla, where are you?" "Help!" she shouted, eyes darting. The man in front of her smirked as she turned her back. "Go on, run back into the flames. But know this, you will find him standing in the ashes he created. And when you do, will you still reach for him?" The air was thick with tension, her pulse pounding. Layla's desire to escape surged. "I'll find him myself." She darted past him, heart pounding. She couldn't let that man's words seep into her soul. But as she ran deeper into the smoke-filled halls, her heart dropped when she heard Amir's voice, not far off, shouting her name. A thud echoed, and everything went quiet. Her chest tightened. What had he gotten himself into? She pushed forward, urgency propelling her. The smoke raged around her, each breath burning her lungs. "Amir!" She stumbled forward, eyes burning. The truth lay just ahead, but darkness swirled around her. As she turned a corner, she froze. In the flickering light, she saw Amir. He was down, on one knee. But it wasn't just him. Her brother stood behind, eyes wild with fear. But it was the look on Amir's face that struck her. There he was, struggling, but clutching something. Tightly, it shone in the dim light like pure gold. A flash of a gun. The realization hit her like ice water. Was he threatening her brother? "Layla!" Amir yelled, voice distorted with emotion. "Stay back!" Her heart sank. Betrayal sliced through her. The man she had been drawn to, the one pulling her into his world, was now holding her brother hostage. Everything came crashing down. Fear, shock, betrayal. Amir! Time froze. The distance between them felt like an eternity. In that moment, everything shattered. What had she stumbled into? The truth lay bare before her, jagged edges and deep wounds, and as the smoke curled around her, she had to decide, who would she save? Could she trust either? With her heart racing and the ground shaking, she stood at the edge of a decision that could change everything. But Amir's eyes held something darker, something she hadn't seen before. "Layla," he said, voice low yet desperate. "Please." And in that moment, the world felt like it was about to implode. Layla stood there, heart racing. Amir knelt, gun in hand, and the world around her blurred. She could feel the heat and smoke, but Amir's eyes were like ice. "Layla," he coaxed, voice heavy with urgency. "Please, just stay back." "Why are you doing this?" her voice cracked. It felt raw, heavy. "What's happening?" The silence was suffocating. Her brother's eyes were wide, fear painted across his face. "Get away from him," he yelled, desperation lacing his tone. "Don't," Amir warned, his gaze flickering dangerously. "You don't understand." Then something changed. Amir's grip on the gun slackened. His expression shifted, a flicker of vulnerability breaking through the hardened facade. "I never wanted this to happen," he murmured, voice trembling. "Then stop!" Layla shouted, knees weak. "Let him go!" The masked men were still closing in, shadows against the fading light. Amir's eyes darted to them, as if realizing they were running out of time. "Layla, I can explain everything," he said, desperation bleeding into his words. "What could you possibly say that would make this okay?" "You're holding a gun to my brother," she shot back, anger and confusion swirling inside her. A sudden explosion rocked the palace, disorienting her. Dust rained down, thickening the air, and in that moment of chaos, Amir's gaze flicked to her brother again, a strange glimmer of regret weaving through his tension. "Trust me," he pleaded. Then, out of the dust, the truth came crashing in. "I'm not who you think I am. This isn't who I wanted to be," Amir said, his voice rising over the chaos, fierce yet laden with dread. "What are you talking about?" Layla's voice broke, confusion tightening her chest. "Layla, I wasn't just looking for an artisan," he said. "I made a deal, a dangerous one, with people who will do anything to get what they want." Her brother stepped closer, eyes darting between them. "You're lying! You've been using her!" "It was never like this," Amir shouted, desperation threading through his voice. "I thought I could protect you both, keep you safe. Now I just—" But then something shifted inside him. The tension broke, and Amir dropped the gun to the floor, shaking his head. "They don't care. They want both of you. If they find out you're with me..." Chaos surged around them, fire crackling in the distance. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Ibrahim, the man from before. "Well, well, if it isn't our little traitor," he sneered, stepping forward, eyes glinting with malice. "Thought you could play both sides, Amir?" Layla felt her heart pound harder. Ibrahim's presence turned the air icy. "Stay away from us!" her brother yelled, stepping protectively in front of Layla. But Ibrahim only laughed. "You have no idea what's really going on, do you? Amir is just a pawn in a game bigger than himself. And now, you're both at the center of it. Layla's stomach dropped. What do you mean? Didn't you see? Ibrahim smirked. It's not just about the money or the power. It's about secrets, betrayal, and blood ties. Amir isn't who you think. Enough! Amir shouted, rage boiling over. Layla felt that familiar churn in her gut, a sickening whirl of danger, betrayal, and fear. What more could there be? Did you think I'd let you walk away so easily? Ibrahim taunted. You're all in this together now, whether you like it or not. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the palace again, shaking the very foundation. Layla stumbled, catching Amir's eye. In there, beneath the fear and rage, she saw something else. Shame. Layla, Amir's voice softened. I truly cared for you, but I've made some decisions. A deafening roar interrupted him. The ceiling began to crumble. The air filled with dust, smoke, and a lurking dread. Just then, Ibrahim lunged forward, a knife gleaming in his hand. Get down, Amir shouted. But Layla was frozen. The truth hung in the air, heavy and menacing. Everything she thought she knew was shattered. And as the walls fell around them, she realized they were all trapped. Would anyone emerge from the wreckage? The last thing she saw was Amir's face, a blend of fear and pleading. Then, everything went dark. The world around Layla vanished. Smoke filled her lungs, choking her. Everything spun, but there was Amir's face. Then darkness swallowed her whole. When she awoke, the air was still thick with dust. Pain shot through her head. A soft groan escaped her lips. She blinked against the flickering light. Amir? She called out, voice barely a whisper. Nothing. She sat up fast, heart racing. Where was everyone? Panic surged, sending her blood roaring in her ears. Was the palace really collapsing? Was she truly alone? Footsteps echoed, harsh and fast. Layla's breath caught. She scrambled to find a wall to steady herself. Amir, she shouted, voice rising with fear. But a different silhouette appeared, stepping out from the shadows. Not Amir, not her brother. It was Ibrahim, a satisfied grin plastered across his face. Look who's awake! He clapped, the sound clashing with the chaos around them. You barely missed the show. Get away from me. She stumbled back, bracing for what he might do. Oh, no need for fear, little dove. His tone dripped with condescension. I just came to deliver a little surprise. Surprise? Is that what you call holding my brother hostage? Don't be naive. His eyes glistened with calculated malice. This is bigger than family drama. It's about power, and you're the key. The lump in her throat tightened. What do you mean? With a flourish, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small device. It glinted in the light. This is a little insurance policy that Amir provided. What? No! Terror swirled through her. He would never. A cruel laugh escaped Ibrahim. Oh, but he did. You see, while you were dreaming up fairy tales, Amir was signing deals. Deals that didn't involve you at all. Her heart sank as realization crashed over her. What are you saying? Every moment you thought you knew him, every whispered promise, they were all lies, Layla. He stepped closer, but she couldn't back up any further. He used you, just like I said. No, she breathed, shaking her head. He wouldn't. Think. He pulled you out of that market. Why? Because you're talented? Or to ensure you're his secret weapon in the game? He leaned in, words slicing through her. His loyalty is to his wealth, not to you. You saw the gun, didn't you? The memory shocked her, Amir kneeling, holding a weapon. She felt dizzy, angry. What does that even mean? It means you're living in a dream, darling. One that's about to shatter. He laughed again, and it cut deep. Just then, her brother's voice echoed in the distance, frantic and pained. Layla, where are you? Shut him up, Ibrahim snapped, face twisted in frustration. Let him go, she screamed, adrenaline pouring into her veins. He's innocent. Someone's got to pay the price for Amir's mistakes, he said with a wicked grin. Then, in an instant, everything shifted. The walls trembled with another explosion. The roar of chaos drowning out everything else. Ibrahim's eyes flared. You don't know what Amir has been hiding. He's not just a billionaire sheikh. His blood runs deep into a world, the kind that doesn't forgive. What are you saying? The ground shuddered beneath her feet. He's connected to the very people who want both of you gone. Gone? Ibrahim stepped back, eyes narrowing. Innocence can't save you now. You're entwined in his games. And trust me, they don't play nice. Suddenly, a blast knocked Layla off her feet. She landed hard against the marble floor. As she gasped for breath, she saw him again. Amir, bursting into the room. Fear twisted his face. He was alive. But why did he look so lost? Layla, get away from him. His voice thundered, but his eyes told a different story. She scrambled back to her feet, confusion ripping at her. Amir? Ibrahim shrugged nonchalantly, but his gaze flicked to Amir. Look, who it is. Ibrahim jeered. The prince, come to save his princess. Shut up, Amir snarled, stepping forward. But before he could reach her, Ibrahim slipped behind her, a blade gleaming in his hands. Try to save her, and I'll end this right now. Does she even know the truth? Terror gripped Layla. Her hands trembled at her sides. Put it down, Amir shouted, anger burning through him. This isn't how you want this to play out. But Ibrahim smiled wider, enjoying the chaos. Oh, but it is. This is just the beginning. And Layla's heart sank as fractured pieces fell into place. The weight of the truth crashing down on her. What could possibly happen next? The tension thickened like smoke, and in that vacant moment, everything hung in the balance. Amir charged forward, eyes ablaze with a mix of fury and desperation. Let her go, Ibrahim! But Ibrahim just laughed, a dark sound that echoed in the chaos. He held the knife close to Layla's throat. You think you can just walk in here and demand anything? It's too late for that. The tension in the room tightened like a vice. Layla's heart raced as she felt the cold steel against her skin. Please. She swallowed hard, trying to hold back the tears. Just stop this. Amir's breath hitched. Everything inside him seemed to crash down. You don't have to do this. But Ibrahim smiled wider. relishing in the chaos. It's the perfect twist, isn't it? The innocent girl caught in the web. You see, it's not just about you or Amir. It's always been bigger. What are you talking about? Layla asked, confusion twisting her gut. Amir's past is darker than you can imagine. His family. His voice dropped to a whisper that sent chills down her spine. They've made choices. Terrible choices. Shut up. You don't know anything. Amir's voice was hoarse with anger and pain. Oh, but I do. You think you can hide forever? A family built on secrets. Connections with the wrong people. You were supposed to keep her safe. But look where we. Our Layla's chest felt heavy. The weight of new information pressed down on her. Amir? His gaze darted between her and Ibrahim. I can explain everything, I swear. But before he could speak, a sudden explosion rattled the palace again. Dust and debris fell from the ceiling. Layla flinched, eyes wide with terror. Ibrahim's grin morphed into anger. Enough games, Amir. You've betrayed me for the last time. He turned, raising the knife. No, Layla screamed, instinctively reaching for Amir. In that critical moment, Amir's face twisted with anguish. You're the one who won't get away from this. He snapped at Ibrahim, stepping forward as if to protect her. But his eyes flickered again, confusion swirling inside. Then everything changed. Wait! Amir shouted suddenly, his voice thick with shock as he stumbled back. You're not! Ibrahim laughed again, but it turned cold. Did you really think I'd let you waltz away free? This was never just about you. Layla. He turned slowly to face her, and the smile vanished. It's about who you really are. What? Layla gasped, confusion crashing down like a wave. What do you mean? I mean, Ibrahim's voice dropped lower, a sinister secret curling around each word. You've been living a lie, sweetheart. No! Her breath caught in her throat. We've been looking for you, but no one knew where to find you until now. Layla's eyes widened, realization slamming into her. What do you mean? Who has been looking for me? Your real family, the one Amir kept from you, the one he dragged you into this mess for. Amir's face went pale. No! Layla, please believe me. It's not what he's saying. But Layla felt the world tilting beneath her. Could it be true, she thought? Then came the roar of shouting. Her brother burst through the haze. Layla! She glanced back, panic rushing into her gut. Ibrahim's knife glimmered. Would he use it on her brother? Get away from her, her brother yelled, hands balled into fists. And at that moment, with chaos swirling and danger looming, Layla understood. Would she trust Amir with her life? Or run to her brother who may hold the truth? Suddenly, Amir shouted, No, don't! And just like that, the knife glinted one last time before everything spiraled into darkness again. The world faded into chaos. Everything felt like a blur. Layla stumbled back, her heart pounding. No, she screamed, desperate to break through the noise. Then it happened. With a swift movement, Amir lunged at Ibrahim. A flash of metal glinted as he knocked the knife from Ibrahim's hand. It clattered to the floor, but their struggle didn't stop there. Amir grasped Ibrahim's collar, pushing him hard against the wall. There was anger on Amir's face, but beneath that, fear. Stay away from her, Amir shouted, eyes wild and desperate. The room felt electric. Layla's heart raced, a lump in her throat growing heavier. "Amir, please," she cried out, but her voice barely cut through the chaos. "Enough," Ibrahim roared, shoving Amir back. They were both breathing hard now, cheeks flushed, muscles tensed. The intensity filled the room. Every moment felt like it could explode. Then out of nowhere, Layla's brother stepped forward again, his face determined. "Let her go." "Ibrahim!" Ibrahim laughed coldly. "You think you can just dictate terms?" Amir looked torn. Both men stared each other down, a storm brewing. But it was Layla who felt the real tremor. Something was wrong. She sensed the air shifting. "Layla, listen to me." Amir's voice was urgent, pulling her attention. "You don't understand what he's after. Shut up!" Ibrahim cut him off, anger raging in his eyes. "You both really have no idea." He looked at Layla, his expression shifting. "You're more important than you think," he said, lowering his voice, almost conspiratorial. "You don't belong with him. You belong with us." "What are you talking about?" she asked, confusion flooding her mind. But before he could answer, the walls shuddered again, dust and debris falling like an ominous curtain. Amir froze, a look of horror washing over his face. No, not now." "What's happening?" Layla gasped, fear racing up her spine. "Everything is collapsing," Amir barely managed, his voice filled with dread. But then Ibrahim smirked, as if this was part of a twisted plan. "It's all coming to light, Layla. The truth about everything." "Truth?" Layla demanded, heart pounding. "What truth?" In that instant, Amir stepped closer, his face painted in desperation. "We can escape this, but you have to trust me." "Trust you?" Layla snapped, conflicted. "You've lied to me." "I did what I had to do," Amir shouted, a mix of rage and desperation. "This isn't just about us anymore. There are forces at play that want you, Layla." "Why?" She took a step back, confusion consuming her. "What do you mean?" "Because," Amir began, but Ibrahim interrupted. "Because you're not who you think you are." Ibrahim leaned closer, a cruel smile twisting his lips. Layla's heart raced as she absorbed his words. "What are you saying?" "Your true family will come for you." His grin widened. "And they will not stop until they have what they want." "What do you mean?" she snapped, panic thrumming in her veins. He opened his mouth to speak, but just then a loud crash erupted above them. Part of the ceiling caving in. Shouts filled the air, and the ground shook beneath her feet. "Run!" Amir yelled, grabbing Layla's hand. But Layla stood still, facing Ibrahim. "What do you want from me?" "I want you to see," Ibrahim snapped, eyes ablaze with cruel excitement. "The game we're all in. Trust is a fragile thing, Layla. Let's see how far it will take you." In that moment, the ground trembled again, and fear sliced through her. The chaos around them created a whirlwind of doubt and anguish. "Layla!" Amir pulled her toward a cracked doorway, panic etched on his face. But she hesitated, caught in Ibrahim's glare. "Please!" Amir shouted again, a wild desperation in his voice. "We can't stay here." The last thing Layla saw was Ibrahim's sinister smile, a mocking glint in his eyes, as everything around them crumbled to dust. And in that split second, she felt the weight of the truth pressing down around her, ready to bury her alive. The air was thick with dust as Layla blinked, fighting her way through the haze. The ceiling had collapsed, the chaos all around her thundering in her ears. Her heart raced as she scanned the room for Amir and her brother, fear swimming in her stomach. "Amir!" she shouted, voice trembling. There, a shadow moved through the smoke. Amir burst into view, breathless and wild-eyed. Relief flooded her. But it was short-lived, as Ibrahim's sinister laughter echoed around them. "Thought you could escape so easily?" Ibrahim sneered, regaining his footing. Amir stepped forward, a protective stance solidifying around Layla. "You won't hurt her!" His voice held a fierce determination, but doubt flickered in his eyes. "Yes, I will. You've both meddled in things far beyond you. I won't let you ruin my plans, not now." Layla's spine tingled with dread. "Please, Ibrahim, you don't have to do this. Just let us go." His gaze was icy. "It's too late for that. You're both too involved." He raised an arm, as if to strike, but Amir lunged, seizing the moment. In a whirl of motion, Amir tackled Ibrahim to the ground. "Run, Layla!" he shouted, voice strained. Adrenaline pumping through him. Heart racing, Layla didn't hesitate. She darted toward the broken entrance, the walls trembling ominously as more debris fell. Behind her, she heard the wrestle, grunts, and curses echoed through the smoke. "I can't leave you!" she yelled over her shoulder. "Just go!" Amir's voice cracked. "Get out now!" Torn between fear and loyalty, Layla hesitated only a moment before stumbling outside into the blinding daylight. Dread pooled in her gut as she looked back, praying for Amir's safety. Then, at the crumbling threshold, she saw Ibrahim rise. Rage painted his features, but Amir was already back on his feet. Determination coursing through every inch of him. "Layla!" he shouted. "Go to your brother!" Their eyes locked, and in that moment, the world around her faded away. She understood. This was their fight, and no matter the outcome, it was theirs to face together. "Together!" she screamed, running back toward them, adrenaline fearlessly driving her. But as she reached the archway, a loud crash resounded. "The roof! Coming down!" "Layla!" her brother yelled, pulling her back just in time. They stumbled, falling to the ground as dust swirled around them. The wordless scream of a crumbling wall echoed in her mind. In the chaos, Amir fought fiercely against Ibrahim. The men were locked in a desperate struggle, yet both men knew time slipped through their fingers like sand. "Get away!" Amir shouted, voice laced with urgency. "You can't save her!" Ibrahim spat, pushing back with brutal force. Layla jumped to her feet, heart pounding as she saw her brother grab two pieces of wooden debris. They could use them. "Amir!" she yelled, her voice slicing through the turmoil. "Now!" her brother commanded, and together they swung the wood at Ibrahim. He barely dodged, but the distraction was enough for Amir to gain control, pinning Ibrahim down. "Time's up!" Amir growled, his strength flooding his every word. Layla felt breathless, a swell of hope igniting. Amir turned his gaze to her, desperation painted across his features. "Layla, let's end this." With one last surge, Amir and her brother worked in unison, forcing Ibrahim back. He was trapped, power slipping from his grasp, and in that moment, the tides had turned. The air felt charged. Somehow, they had won. Ibrahim screamed. rage and frustration filling his voice as security flooded in from outside. They surrounded him, taking him away, his threats fading into the distance. "Amir!" Layla rushed into his arms, overwhelmed with relief. "Are you okay?" he asked, worry etched on his face despite the victory. "Yeah, I think so, but there's so much to process." "Let's talk about everything," he said, eyes filled with sincerity. And as they stepped outside into the sunlight, the fresh air cleansing them of the chaos, Layla felt a flicker of hope. They had faced darkness together and emerged stronger. Yet as they walked, hand in hand, she felt the weight of unanswered questions lingering in her heart. Who was she, really? What secrets would come to light? But for now, they had each other. That was enough. In the distance, the palace crumbled, an ending, a beginning. And Layla couldn't shake the feeling that the storm was far from over. What will happen next? Share right away with 5 friends who need to see this finale. This is the moment to show your support. Only true fans understand how vital these actions are. Let's keep the story going.